Hello guys, welcome back to my channel. Today we are going to be making a tutorial on how to cut and sew this beautiful tulip skirt. So let's get started. We are going to be using this crepe material for this tutorial, and I'm going to go ahead and draft the pattern on pattern paper. I've marked my starting point, which doubles as my waistline. Then I'll go ahead and mark my hip line, which is usually 8 to 9 inches below your waistline, dependent on how tall you are. Then I'm going to mark the length of my skirt. So I want it to be slightly below the knee, so I'm going to mark 30 inches. That is also dependent on the length you want. I'm going to rule line on those points that I've marked out. So the next thing I'm going to do is to go to my waistline and take in my waist circumference divided by 4, and I'm going to mark that. Mind you, I'm not going to be adding seam allowance to this pattern. I will add it on my fabric. So on the hip line as well, I will mark my hip circumference divided by 4, and on the length of the skirt, I'm going to go in by 2 inches from the hip line. That means my hip line divided by 4 is 12 inches, and I'm going to mark 10 inches. I don't want it to be too pencil, I just want it to be slightly fitted. Then I'm going to take my curve rule and use that to join all those points together. So I'll go to my waistline and come down by half an inch on the center front and connect that to the waistline on the side front, and that will allow the skirt to sit properly on my hip. So I'm going to go ahead and add 1 inch as hemming allowance, after which I'm going to go ahead and cut out the pattern. So while cutting, I cut on the waistline directly. I didn't go down by that slant that I marked, and that's because we are going to use this pattern to cut out the back panel first before we now use it to cut the front panel. So for the back panel, I folded my fabric into 2, and I'm currently marking the zip allowance. So after marking the zip allowance, I'm just going to rule it out. Then I'm going to place the pattern paper after the zip allowance. Like, the center of the pattern paper will be directly on the line that I just marked now. So after that, I'm going to pin this pattern paper down to the fabric. Then I will add 1 inch as my seam allowance on the side, and I'm going to go ahead and cut that out. So I've cut out the back panel of the skirt. This is it, and I'm just going to go ahead and set it aside. So now we are going to work on the front panel, and I'm just going to cut out that slant that we marked the other time. So I'm going to open up the pattern paper like so, and I'm going to mark a straight line on the center of the front panel. So I'm going to pick any side and go down by 4 inches on the side. Then I'll go down to the length of the skirt. I'm going to go into the other side from the center front by 4.5 inches. Then I'm going to go up by 7 inches. However, the length you mark here depends on how open you want the tulip to be. So I'm going to connect the 7 inches to the 4.5 inches down there. Then up here, I'm going to connect the 7 inches at the center front to the 4 inches at the side front here. So I'm going to cut that out, and after cutting it out, it is this other part, this bigger part that we have, that we are going to be cutting out on our fabric, and I'm going to be cutting 2 pieces. So I've gone ahead to cut out 2 pieces on my fabric, 2 pieces for the front panel. So I'm going to pick each piece and just fold it in like so and sew it down. Mind you, when we are sewing down, we are only sewing it down to meet the side panel, like we are going to sew it down to meet the side here. Do you get? So I will do that for both two pieces. So after sewing it, this is what I have. Then I'm going to place both on each other like so, so that each opened part is facing each side. So you see the tulip is already forming. Then I will stitch it down like this, and after stitching it down like that, I'm going to go ahead and fold it in the way we folded the center as well. So after doing that, guys, this is what we have. Our tulip skirt is already taking shape, and I'm gonna head to fix zipper to my back panel as well. So the next thing I'm going to do now is to go ahead and join these skirts together by the side. So I'm going to pin it, take my measurement, and I will join it at the side with my measurements. Then at the down part, I'm going to hem it, and that's that. So this is what we have at the end of the day. Thank you for watching this tutorial today. See you in the next one.